Good morning. How's it going out there, folks? Welcome back here to the Sunday morning update. March 2nd, 2025 is the date, 10:22 a.m. California time here. Latest activity shows some movement there across the California region with a swarm of earthquakes around the southern end of the Cascadia subduction zone. Whether you want to call this aftershock sequences there from the 7-pointer last year or just a continual earthquake sequence, that's up to you, but to me, this tells me that things are increasing here in pressure. So 4 earthquakes. I believe there's been a number more, but take a split here between yesterday and today. 2 more 3-pointers this morning. I have a feeling there's been more earthquakes in here than what they're reporting up there. And I say that because there's some activity stirring up in Alaska here too that's missing from the size or from the USGS map. They are showing a 4.6 earlier this morning, but back before that, we had a 5-pointer out here. According to the EMSC data, not showing up on the USGS map. This is that 5-pointer that the EMSC is reporting. We can go over there and check out that page real quick and show you guys their map. Start off over here. Yeah, there's a interesting earthquake back prior to the subduction zone. A little odd one. Now the data coming in here looks like it's just from the Germany, the GFC model. So nothing coming in from the USGS model. Now whether it's a legit earthquake or not, well, it's one of those things here. What triggered this event to be put out in the first place? So we'll have to check back and see if they add that earthquake after the fact. But they are showing a 4.6. Either way, Alaska's been quite active out here in the last few days. Up around Seattle, a little bit of movement in the Cascades, a 2-pointer this morning. Nothing big going on there for now. It is a weekend, so most of the time the smaller quakes will not be reported out here on the USGS map until everyone gets in the office there Monday morning and looks at the data. So Northern California increasing, some movement up here outside of Chester area, Northern California. Pretty shallow crestal quake there, not associated with the Mount Lassen volcano up north. Bay Area, pretty quiet, a handful of smaller quakes. Southern California, got a swarm going on down here across the Brawley seismic zone once again, and also a little separate earthquake sequence around this Bend area outside of the Cathedral City area, off the San Andreas Fault, the southern end. So let's take a look here, see what we have across the Salton Sea area. Number of 2s kicking off, some 1s in there as well. The largest, a 2.7 this morning. That is just south of the San Andreas Fault. This is not the only swarm that's been taking place here. We've seen a number of swarms up and down the southern branch of the San Andreas Fault, just making me feel like this may be getting ready to produce some larger activity. Of course, the southern branch has not seen any full rupture activity in over 300 years and is capable of producing an 8.1 earthquake. That's not fear-mongering. That's just the cold, hard truth. And no doubt that will definitely happen here one day. Could be soon, could be today. Just never know. So here's the swarm from today. If we go back in the last 7 days, there was a little separate swarm along the Brawley fault zone, but a little bit further south here near the Imperial fault system. This is more of a spreading center here compared to a strike slip up north. That's why we have these volcanoes out here, these Salton Buttes volcanoes. But either way, activity stirring up. Keep an eye there on the San Andreas Fault. As I mentioned, it's seen a number of interesting swarms on it here recently. Those could be telltale signs, right? You just never know. To ignore the signs would be very foolish. Earthquake activity out across Nevada, up into Utah. Nothing big going on out there for now. Yellowstone, nothing showing up. But I do want to, let's see here, see if they got anything back up in their data. It's just been offline here recently. Well, it's been, I can't say offline, it's been behind about 12 hours for whatever reason. And it's still offline. This is from yesterday. Notice the first at 1300 local time there. So that's, 1 o'clock in the afternoon mountain time. from yesterday, getting almost 24 hours behind. If we check out the original source, it's going to be the University of Utah here that monitors the earthquake data there across Yellowstone. See if they're working today. Not us. Looks like something going on there with the come on. Wow. What's going on here? Am I being blocked? Site just can't be reached there. You see that? That's a little weird. But luckily, I have some similar links here. YMC station. Let's see if this is active. It's looks like it's down the whole site there. The University of Utah. All right, well, it's not me, right? No, it's not me. It's just them. Okay. We'll have to check back on that. Either way, they've been behind in data, and now no data. Across Yellowstone. All right. I do have, that's why I like to run these live seismograph stations, because, well, we can see what comes in there. Right now, the Madison station there, 207 in Yellowstone National Park, is quiet. Excuse me. It's one of those days. What's going on here? Internet's not working. Sneeze attack. Next, I'll have a cough fit. Someone putting a spell on me. Probably not, but it just could be the weather stirring things up out here. There's a lot of blossoms here in Northern California, and got some wind stirring stuff up out here. Oklahoma, Texas, oil fields. Got some severe weather potential out here today. We'll check that out in a minute. Eastern portion of the country. Similar to the Northwest up here, the little quakes will not be reported until Monday morning after a review of all the data. So let's see here. Just double check and making sure everything's refreshed. I like to make sure. Latest and largest quake so far, 5.3 out in the mid-Indian Ridge. Notice a little bit of activity here north of Ethiopia. Well, it's in Ethiopia, but it's outside the rift zone. This has been quite active down here in the last, well, couple months. Last couple of weeks it's calmed down along with Santorini, but a little bit of further movement way up north. A 5.2 and a 4.3 there from today. So we'll see if that stirs things up there across the Santorini area of Greece. USGS not showing anything there for that volcano. So let's double check the geophysics site from Greece. University of Athens. I like this page because you can look at all the seismograph stations. I just want to make sure this is all refreshed. And then we'll zoom in here to the Santorini area. See what's cracking out there today. I don't know if that's the correct wording. I was going to say popping, but I don't even know if that's correct for a volcano, right? Gotta watch what you say out here. Earthquakes increasing there, it looks like, across the Santorini area in the last few hours. Those got to be getting up close to the upper 3 range, maybe low grade 4 magnitude earthquakes. But it does look like things are starting to kick back up there across the Santorini area. So let's go over and check out the station viewer here from the Raspberry Shake data. These are live seismograph stations that are associated with the Raspberry Shake.org site. If I had enough money, I would put me one of these in my backyard. But they are expensive. Santorini area, here's the earthquake swarm. 610 earthquakes, a little earthquake activity coming in right now. I think there's a number of them, some smaller ones in there. So let's see what we got here. The latest, a 2-pointer. There's a 2.9 today. Let me check out the largest magnitudes. Of course, a lot of these are going to be from the end of February. This goes back to last week. Today, 3.7. So it does look like some of those quakes are that we were shown on the recorded seismograph station there, up in the upper 3 range. There's at least one 3.7, 3.6 today, 3.5. So I was close. Upper 3, that's mid to close to upper 3 range for some of those spikes showing up on the on this station right here. There's those three. So things are kicking up there across Santorini. It looks like magnitudes are getting a little bit bigger. So we'll continue to watch this, periodically check back on it. I do have that seismograph station viewer on the live stream, so it'll be highlighted there on the live stream as far as the live data coming in. All right, let's see what else we got here across the planet. Still a cluster going on here across the Kermadec Trench, Tonga Trench area. A lot of this from yesterday. A couple more deep earthquakes today up north. 4.4, the latest, 343 miles deep there. New Zealand filled in a little bit. Didn't I say to watch for some movement here? Sure enough, it hit right there where I was saying. With the activity we noted last night up here, and this 4.7 last night as well, it only makes sense to watch for this region. It was roughly about the same magnitudes as these other ones in the 4 range. So that looks like it's just off the plate boundary there, South Island. Pretty quiet there across Japan for now. Make sure all the bells are off. I'm recording. All right. Just goodness. I don't have allergies. I've never had allergies in my life, but maybe I'm starting to pick them up. Maybe it's just something in the air. Besides allergies, who knows? Hawaii, a couple earthquakes from yesterday, 3.6, well off the north coast of the Big Island. Since then, a couple more smaller quakes out here today. Looks like some movement just offshore. I'm sure we're getting close to the predictable eruption cycle that's been taking place out here. This is the last 30 days of inflation data. Each inflation event leading up to the eruption right here. After the eruption, a short-lived eruption that is, it depletes and then goes back up, depletes, goes back up, depletes, and here we are now. Got to be getting close here. I'm thinking maybe by tonight or early tomorrow morning we should see another eruption there across the Kilauea volcano, but let's just double check. Maybe it's happening right now. Go over here to the webcams and take a look here at the summit area of Kilauea volcano. Still a lot of volcanic gases there across those two little, those are not little, those are actually big. These are trees up here on the outer rim. So this is not just like a little 5-foot crater area. This thing is huge. There's the entirety of the lava lake region up there, Kilauea volcano. No sign of an eruption yet, but like I said, it'll probably start up later tonight, early tomorrow morning, as the inflation models predict. It's almost been a prediction model there. So yeah, keep an eye there on Alaska. It's been quite active, and if that 5-pointer is a legit earthquake, which is a good possibility. I didn't see the seismograph stations there earlier, but it's possible they showed up. Yeah, that 5-pointer is in an odd area. It's just off the plate boundary. And recently there's been quite a bit of amplified activity here across the Aleutian Trench. Not so much in this area, but maybe that's what we're starting to see, a little bit of filling in here across that region. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye there on Southern California with that swarm there on the San Andreas Fault and the Brawley seismic zone today. Northern California rocking as well. Indonesia Islands area, a handful of earthquakes. The latest one, a 4.6 here in this cluster around the Molucca Sea area. Quite a few 4s there in the crunch zone today and also from yesterday. It's almost always happening out there. 4.3, 5.3, that's definitely north of, maybe the northern end here of this rift zone. Interesting activity, but it appears as though things are increasing up north here as well, around the Santorini area. The Atlantic Ocean, pretty quiet. South America got a 3.1 coming in right now. A little quake. Puerto Rico Trench, still swarming out there, so let's go see what's going on. It looks quite active. It looks like something big wants to happen out here. Quite a few 4s up here around the Puerto Rico Trench. We'll turn on the oceanic view here so you guys can see that trench zone right here. Pretty super deep trench. That number of fours this morning, 4.5, 4.6. A lot of these could very well be foreshocks to something bigger. It's been a while since we've seen any increasing movement like that across that trench zone, but keep an eye on it. Looking quite active here today. Off the coast here, Mexico, 5-pointer from yesterday. Nothing new to report there as far as the USGS goes. A lot of older activity here on the globe as well from yesterday. All right, let's check out the space weather activity. Here's the last couple days here from the Space Weather Prediction Center. Again, Solar Ham site is offline. If you didn't get the memo, a real quick recap. They are shutting down. Well, at least mentioning of an extended break. I don't know if they're going to remove the website or not. I know it takes some money to keep a website up, so I don't know if this is going to go down or not. But Kevin there at Solar Ham is refocusing on the family and health. But we'll see if they return or not. But after 19 years, they're reporting a lot of the data on the sun. They are taking an extended break. So we wish Kevin the best there. Appreciate all the all-together information. You know, everything he shares is on different websites, just in a centralized web page on a layout, which is really nice. You know, instead of having to go to this page and then back over here, click on this. It was all laid out in a perfect, layered website, but we can still work with the space weather activity through this. Solar flaring activity, not a whole lot happening out there. Got even dipping down. It looks like we're dipping down into the B flare category. That's some very quiet conditions. Now, we did have a CME that blasted off earlier this morning. Southern end of the sun. Let me pull up a video here real quick and I'll show you guys. This is the last couple days, so we're more concerned with right about here. Down here in the southern area of the sun, there we go, decent CME, maybe a little bit of Earth-directed plasma, so that potentially could enhance the auroras here in the coming days, but really not expecting much unless that looks like it's more Earth-directed than what it's showing. So we'll have to check back on that in a couple days, but it was not completely Earth-directed. Take a look here at the magnetogram image here. There's so many images of the sun. I'm probably going to create my own links to just each and every one of these so I don't have to go through all the cycle of images. Magnetogram image, latest one today. Pretty quiet here on the Earth-facing side of the sun. Not a whole lot of complexity. There's this region down here that's been shown a little bit of back and forth growth, but really not expecting much. I guess maybe that may be a source here of some C-flare activity if it continues. A little area back here across the southeastern area of the sun. Hard to say, though, if that's going to do anything. There's a little bit of intermixing complexity there with the magnetic structure, but that explosion that took place happened, had to have been from a far side sunspot here. But we'll continue to keep an eye on it. The flare threat level right now is pretty low. I got mine set at about 1% for an X flare. Probably about 40% chance for an M flare. But nothing major here in the forecast for now. A quick glance at the space or storm prediction center here on Earth. Got slight risk added to the map today. Got all the storm chasers headed out there to see if they can catch some water vapor. Spinning water vapor, that is. 5% chance for some tornado activity, along with the 2% surrounding that near the Wichita Falls, Texas area, Lawton, and Weatherford, Oklahoma. Got a little decent area out there for some tornado activity. Some wind and some hail threats out there as well. A bigger weather event coming up, looks like, on day 3. This is going to be for Tuesday. Huge area of enhanced region, slight, marginal. This could be a pretty big day in terms of severe weather. So we'll have to check back on that as we get a little bit closer to that time period. But could be a decent day to watch the weather and just be aware and stay safe out there. That's for sure. The numerical models. California, a little bit of rain. I don't know, missed us here around Chico. Up in Redding, northern coast there, got quite a bit of rain, but here around the Chico area, just a few sprinkles. That is going to scoot out. That system out here is actually going to be responsible for the severe weather around Tuesday time period back across Texas right there. Again, a decent day. That's a typical severe weather setup here with tornado activity down south. A massive low pressure system. That convection right there, that uplifting from that low will definitely get those storms rotating. So got to watch that. Aside from that, scoots out of the way towards the end of the week. Another storm system behind that for the West Coast. This one aimed a little bit more at Southern California there. So I know they've been gypped on the rain a little bit, but it looks like it's coming in there to Southern California. Another storm behind that for the not this coming week, but next week. It's just an active pattern out here of storm after storm. And that is okay with me because I'm not quite ready for the warm weather out here. I like the cool, wet weather. You know, that's just me, though. Everyone is different. Either way, you know, the storm systems that happen over here across California can have an effect there across this area of the country. So looks like each storm that comes in, a couple days later, severe weather potential. This is for the weekend. This is for the 16th, not this coming weekend, but the next weekend. And that could very well change, but the pattern out here is quite active. So we'll see what happens here in the coming days as we get into the spring time period. See if they've updated anything yet on these interactive maps. 6 to 10 day forecast. Quite a bit of rain there for the West Coast. Below normal temperatures for us. 8 to 14 day. Quite a bit of precipitation there for California. Showing well below normal for Texas, but let's see how that plays out. That's for the March 9th to the 15th time period. Weeks 3 to 4, roughly about the same. Quick glance here at the seismos or the earthquakes once again. Seismograph station's pretty quiet for now, but again, just keep an eye on things, folks. I need to... What was that just came in? A little spike there on Yellowstone. Nothing big, just a little bitty spike. I got to find out what's going on with this data up here across Yellowstone as far as the data not being reported, not coming in. Look at that. Either I am blocked or it is offline. Maybe someone else can check out this website. It's quake.utah.edu. Let me see here. We'll just try their main site and see if maybe it's just the links to the seismos. Nah, that whole site's offline. They are offline. All right. Anyway, we'll see you guys out here tonight for the Sunday night update. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And stay safe out there, folks. Be prepared.